The small town of Silver Creek was quiet that night. It was winter, and cold wind moved between the empty trees. Inside a small wooden house, a little girl named Lena sat near the window. She was only 6 years old, small, kind, and full of curiosity. She loved to look at the stars. Every night she counted them before going to sleep. Her mother had told her, "Those stars are far away, Lena, don't stay up too late." But Lena always smiled and said softly, "I just want to see if one falls." That night something strange happened. At first, Lena saw a bright light moving fast across the sky. It wasn't like a normal shooting star. It was bigger, brighter, and it didn't fade. Instead, it grew larger as it came closer. The light turned red, then blue, and then a strange green. The ground shook a little. Her window rattled. Lena gasped and ran to the glass. The light crashed behind the forest, not far from her house. Her heart beat fast. "A falling star," she whispered. But something inside told her it was not just a star. Outside, the wind grew stronger. The snow was deep and the night was darker than before. But Lena couldn't stop thinking about that light. She wrapped herself in her small blanket, opened the door quietly, and stepped outside. Her mother was asleep and her father worked the night shift far away. The cold air bit her face, but she kept walking. The forest stood tall and silent like dark giants. The snow crunched under her feet. A strange smell filled the air like burning metal and smoke. Then she saw it. In the middle of a small clearing, a round metal object was half buried in the snow. It was glowing faintly. Steam rose from it and small sparks danced around. Lena's eyes widened. She stepped closer, one small foot after another. The metal shell had cracks. Something inside was moving. "Hello?" she whispered, her voice shaking. No answer. Then she heard a sound, and soft, weak, almost like a baby's cry. Lena froze. It wasn't a human cry, but it wasn't frightening either. It sounded sad. She stepped closer and saw a small shape inside the broken metal. It was tiny, shaking and covered in thin, pale skin that shimmered under the faint light. It had big eyes, too big for its face, and a small mouth that opened and closed like it was gasping for air. The creature was freezing. Lena's fear changed into something else. Worry. The baby creature was shivering just like she did when she forgot her blanket on a cold night. She knelt down, her small hands trembling. "You're cold," she whispered softly. "Don't cry." The creature looked at her. Its eyes were full of fear and pain. Lena didn't know what it was. Maybe an animal, maybe something else. But she knew it was alive. She felt tears in her own eyes. Without thinking, Lena took off her warm little blanket, the one her mother had made for her, and gently placed it over the creature. The creature stopped shaking. Its strange blue skin glowed a little brighter. Its breathing slowed down. For a moment it looked peaceful. Lena smiled. "You'll be okay," she whispered. "I'll help you." Then suddenly the ground under her feet trembled again. The metal object made a low humming sound. Lights flickered around it. Lena stepped back, scared, but didn't run. Something inside the ship was still active, moving, alive. She heard distant voices, not human ones, echoing from the forest. Strange shadows moved between the trees. Her small heart raced. "Someone's coming," she whispered. The creature's eyes opened again, and for a second Lena saw a flash of light inside them, a reflection of something far away. The baby alien made a small sound like it was warning her. Lena turned toward the trees. The shadows were closer now. She picked up the alien baby, still wrapped in her blanket, and held it close. It was warm now, almost glowing. She didn't know why, but she felt she had to protect it. In the darkness, shapes moved. Tall, thin, glowing figures, walking slowly toward her in the crash site. Lena took a step back, her breath fogging in the cold air. "Don't worry," she whispered to the alien baby. "I won't let them take you." The forest filled with strange light, and then everything went silent. The forest was glowing. Lena stood in the middle of the clearing, holding the tiny alien baby close to her chest. The strange blue light from the crashed ship flickered again, and then she saw them, tall figures walking out of the mist. They weren't like humans. Their skin was silver and smooth like glass. Their eyes glowed softly, and they moved without sound. Lena's knees trembled. She wanted to run, but something told her to stay still. The alien baby in her arms made a quiet sound, almost a cry, and the tall figures stopped. One of them raised its hand. A thin beam of white light scanned the area, touching the trees, the snow, and then Lena. The light stopped when it reached the baby. A strange tone echoed, soft but sad. Lena didn't understand their words, but she could feel what they meant. They were searching for this baby. Her heart pounded. Were they its family? Or something worse? The tallest figure stepped closer. Its movements were slow and careful. Lena's breath turned to mist. She whispered, "It's okay. Please don't hurt him." The figure tilted its head as if listening. Then it said something, not in any language she knew. But when its glowing hand pointed at the baby, she understood. They wanted the child. Lena shook her head quickly. "No, it's cold."
"He'll die!"
she said, wrapping the blanket tighter. The alien baby's small hand clung to her sleeve. Its glowing eyes stared at her like it was begging her not to let go. The tall being paused. It lowered its hand and looked toward the ship. The ship's light was fading fast. The air was filled with the smell of burning and smoke. A strange device on its wrist blinked red, warning signs. Suddenly, one of the other aliens made a loud clicking noise. A flash of red light shot into the sky like a signal. Lena gasped. "They're calling someone!" The tallest alien looked back at her. For a moment, their eyes met, human and alien. And in that strange, silent second, Lena saw something inside those glowing eyes. Fear. They weren't monsters. They were afraid too. The creature made a soft sound again, not angry, not violent. It was more like sadness. It turned away and gestured to the others. The group began to move back toward the ship. Lena looked down at the baby. Its skin was changing color and from blue to pale gray. It was weak again. She could feel it shaking. "No, don't leave," she shouted, stepping forward. The alien stopped. The tallest one turned again and looked at her. Then, with slow, heavy steps, it came close. Close enough for Lena to see its face clearly under the light. It placed one glowing hand over the baby and made a sound that was almost like a hum. The baby's breathing became steady again. The creature's eyes softened. Then it looked at Lena and touched her forehead gently. A warm pulse of energy ran through her. For a second, everything was quiet. Her fear melted away and she saw flashes in her mind. A planet full of light, children playing under twin suns, and then fire and destruction, a war, the baby crying, a desperate escape. When she blinked, the vision was gone. The alien lowered its hand and looked at her, its glowing eyes filled with sorrow. "You're his family," Lena whispered. The creature nodded slowly. It said something in its strange voice, but this time she understood it, not with words, but with feeling. "Protect him." Then the sky above them lit up. A loud roar came from far away. Red lights flashed through the trees. Helicopters and your human ones were coming, soldiers. The aliens turned quickly, alarmed. The tallest one looked at Lena again, touched her shoulder gently, and then backed away. Lena shouted, "Wait! Don't go!" But the ground split open beneath the ship. A beam of blue light surrounded the aliens. The air twisted, and with a flash they were gone, leaving only the crashed metal shell behind. Lena fell to her knees, still holding the baby. Her blanket was glowing faintly, covered in a soft blue light from the creature's skin. The wind howled again as the helicopters came closer. Moments later, the snow around her exploded with light. Voices shouted. Men in black suits and masks ran toward her. "Over here!" "A survivor," one of them yelled. Strong hands lifted Lena gently. The baby was still in her arms, wrapped tight. One of the men reached for it. "What's that?" he asked sharply. Lena tried to speak, but no words came out. She just whispered, "He's my friend." The man stared at the glowing baby, his eyes wide in shock. "We need to take them both, now." As the helicopter lifted off, Lena looked down through the window. The forest below was empty. The strange ship had disappeared. Only a faint blue light glowed in the snow, the last trace of the night's mystery. She held the baby close, whispering, "I promised I'd protect you. I will." The baby blinked slowly, its small fingers holding onto her hand. And far above the clouds, unseen by human eyes, another light watched them from space, waiting. The helicopter flew through the night sky, cutting across the dark clouds. Inside, Lena sat quietly, still holding the tiny alien baby in her arms. The blanket she had wrapped around it was glowing faintly. casting a blue light across her face. The soldiers in black armor sat around her, silent but watching closely. Lena's small fingers stroked the baby's head. Its skin felt warm now, no longer shaking. It was sleeping, breathing softly. But she could feel it. Something strange, like a heartbeat that wasn't just from the baby. It was almost as if it was alive in another way. A man with a gray beard sat across from her. His name tag said Dr. Hawk. He wasn't a soldier. He was a scientist. His eyes never left the glowing baby. He spoke into his headset. Yes, we found it. The child, too. Both stable. Returning to base, Lena looked at him nervously. Please don't hurt him, she said in a small voice. Dr. Hawk looked surprised. You found it first, didn't you? She nodded. He was cold. I gave him my blanket. The man leaned closer. Do you know what that is? Lena shook her head. He's my friend. For a second, Dr. Hawk didn't speak. Then he sighed. Let's just hope your friend doesn't start a war. 2 hours later, the helicopter landed at a hidden base deep in the mountains. The air was filled with lights and soldiers. Everything looked secret. Metal doors, big gates, scanners, and tall fences that hummed with electricity. Lena was carried inside by a nurse. The alien baby was placed in a glass chamber with soft white light. Machines started to scan it. Lena pressed her hand against the glass. He's scared, she whispered. Dr. Hawk stood beside her, typing on a tablet. He's not from Earth, Lena. This could be the first alien life we've ever found. He's just a baby, she said softly. The doctor frowned. A baby that survived a crash no human could live through. His cells are regenerating at an impossible rate. His body temperature is... He stopped talking. The baby's eyes opened suddenly, the glowing brighter than before. The monitors beeped fast. The light filled the room. Then something strange happened. The glass around the baby fogged up. The blue light spread through the chamber, touching the walls, the machines, even the doctor's tablet. All the screens began to flash. Shut it down, shouted a soldier. But before they could move, Lena stepped forward and placed her small hand on the glass. The light stopped flickering. Everything went quiet again. Dr. Hawk stared at her. What did you just do? Lena blinked, confused. I just told him it's okay. The doctor looked at the monitors. Everything had stabilized. The baby was calm again. It's responding to you, he said in disbelief. She smiled faintly. He trusts me. That night, Lena couldn't sleep. They had given her a small bed in the medical room beside the chamber. She watched the baby through the glass. Every time it moved, the blanket glowed softly, almost like it was breathing with the baby. Then, around midnight, she heard a voice, not with her ears, but inside her head. Lena. She sat up quickly. Who's there? She whispered, don't be afraid. The voice was soft, like wind through trees. She looked toward the glass. The alien baby was awake, looking right at her. Its eyes were shining brighter than ever. Thank you, Lena gasped. You can talk? Not with words. With light, the voice said inside her mind. You help me. I feel your warmth. You are... Kind Lena smiled, though her heart was beating fast. What's your name? There was a pause. Then the voice said, I am Ao. Ao, she repeated softly. I like that. They don't understand. They are afraid of what they don't know. Ao's voice continued. They think I am dangerous, Lena frowned. You're not. I'll tell them. No. They will never listen. Suddenly alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed through the hallways. Soldiers ran past the room shouting, Intruders in Sector 7. Unknown signatures detected. Lena jumped to her feet. What's happening? Dr. Hawk rushed in. Lena, stay back. He looked at the chamber and then froze. The baby was glowing so brightly now that the glass itself began to crack. What's it doing? A guard shouted. Dr. Hawk's voice shook. It's sending out a signal. The room trembled. Lena heard the voice again, calm but urgent. They are coming for me. My family. But they are not safe. Before anyone could react, the light burst out of the chamber, filling the entire room. The machines exploded with sparks. Lena covered her eyes. When the light faded, the baby was gone. The blanket lay empty inside the broken glass. Lena turned toward the doctor. Where is he? Dr. Hawk whispered. He's escaped. Or he's been taken. Outside, thunder rumbled, calm, but there were no clouds. The night sky was glowing again, just like the night of the crash. Lena looked up through the window, whispering, "Ayo, come back," the air shimmered. For a brief second, she heard his voice once more. "I will find you again, my friend." The night after Ayo vanished, Silver Creek was no longer the same. The sky above the small town was covered in strange, glowing clouds. They moved in circles, flashing blue and white like a silent storm. People whispered about UFOs and government cover-ups. News vans waited outside the mountain base, but no one was allowed inside. Inside the facility, Dr. Hawk sat in his office, his hands shaking as he looked at the report. "Unstable energy surge. Glass breach. Subject missing," he read aloud. His mind was racing. He had seen the readings before, 6 years ago during another secret experiment. But back then there had been no survivors. Now a 6-year-old girl had stood in the middle of that light and lived. He looked at the security feed of Lena sitting quietly in the observation room. She was drawing something with crayons, small glowing circles and tall silver figures. He sighed. She knows more than she realizes. Lena was tired. Her eyes were red from crying. She missed Ayo. Every time she closed her eyes, she could still hear his voice, faint like a whisper in the wind. "Lena, are you safe?" Sometimes she thought she was dreaming, but tonight the voice was stronger. "I'm okay," she whispered back. The nurse beside her frowned. "What did you say, sweetie?" "Nothing," Lena replied softly. The nurse smiled kindly and left the room. But as soon as the door closed, the lights flickered. The blanket on Lena's lap began to glow again, the same blue color as before. She held it tight. "Ayo," she whispered, "I'm near." "But not safe," the voice said inside her mind. "They are looking for me. They will find you too." Lena's heart raced. "Who's looking for you?" "Not humans, others. They want the light inside me. The energy." "What energy?" But the voice faded before she could ask again. She ran to the window and looked outside. The snow was falling softly, but above the clouds she could see faint flashes. Not lightning, something else. Something alive. Meanwhile, deep inside the base, alarms suddenly went off again. "Unidentified object approaching fast," a guard shouted. "It's entering our airspace." Dr. Hawk ran to the control room. On the big screen, a small silver craft was flying toward them, glowing with the same strange light as Ayo's crash. "Is it one of theirs?" an officer asked. Hawk shook his head. "It's smaller. Maybe a scout." The craft landed just outside the mountain gate with a low hum. The snow around it melted instantly. Soldiers surrounded it, weapons ready. But before they could open fire, the craft split open like a flower. A thin stream of blue light floated out. Not a person. Not a creature. Just light, moving slowly through the air. "Heading straight toward the base. Contain it," shouted a soldier. But the light passed right through the walls, through the security doors and into the building, heading for one room. Lena's room. The door burst open. The nurse screamed as the glowing light floated inside. Lena didn't run. She could feel it, Ayo's presence. "Ayo. You came back," she said with a smile. The light swirled around her, warm and soft. Then it took shape, small and faint, like a ghost of Ayo's real body. "I can't stay long," he said inside her head. "They are close." "Who's close?" she asked, scared now. "The ones who destroyed my home. They followed my signal." "They are coming here." Lena's eyes widened. "Then we have to tell them." "The soldiers, no." Ayo's voice echoed sharply. "They will only make it worse. You must leave this place." The door opened suddenly. Dr. Hawk stood there, frozen in shock as he saw the glowing figure beside Lena. "My God," he whispered. "It's communicating again." "Dr. Hawk, please." "He's not dangerous," Lena cried. Hawk stepped closer. "Lena, what is it saying?" Ayo's light dimmed slightly. "He is kind but blind. Tell him they will come for the light." Lena turned to the doctor. "He says something is coming. Bad people. Not from here." Before Hawk could respond, the whole facility shook violently. The ceiling lights shattered. An explosion roared through the hallways. "Contact from above," shouted a voice through the intercom. "Unknown crafts entering the atmosphere." Hawk looked at the monitors. Several huge ships were descending from the clouds, glowing red. Ayo's light flickered. "They found me." Lena grabbed his hand or what felt like one. "We can hide, please." "No hiding now." Ayo floated closer to her and placed his glowing hand on her heart. You help me. Now I will help you. A surge of warmth filled Lena's body. Her eyes glowed for a moment, just like Ao's. Dr. Hawk stepped back, speechless. What's happening to her? Ao's voice was calm. I am giving her the light, so they cannot take it. Lena's small body shimmered. She felt strong, but also scared. Ao, will I see you again? You will. When the storm ends. Then, before anyone could stop him, Io's light shot upward, straight through the ceiling, through the snowstorm, into the sky. The screens flickered. Outside, the alien ships changed direction, chasing after that beam of light. The explosions faded into the distance, and just like that, everything was silent again. Dr. Hawk ran to Lena and knelt beside her. Lena, are you okay? She opened her glowing eyes slowly. He saved us, but now he's out there alone. Hawk looked at the sky through the shattered roof. The clouds were still glowing, but now a strange blue pulse spread across them, as if something powerful had awakened. Lena held the faintly glowing blanket to her chest and whispered, I'll find you, Ao, I promise. The snow outside the base had stopped falling. The sky above was no longer dark. It glowed with strange red clouds swirling like fire. Every few seconds, thunder rolled without rain. The people of Silver Creek looked up in fear, recording videos and calling it the Sky War. Inside the mountain facility, chaos ruled. Soldiers rushed through the hallways. Generators failed. Communications went silent. In the middle of all this, Lena sat on a hospital bed holding her blanket close. Her skin still glowed faintly blue like starlight under her skin. Dr. Hawk stood nearby talking to another officer. She's the key, he said. Whatever that being did, it transferred some kind of energy to her. We can't explain it yet, the officer frowned. You think she's dangerous? Hawk hesitated. No, but others might see her that way. He turned back to Lena, who was staring out the window. Lena, he said softly, do you feel different? She looked down at her hands. Sometimes I hear him, she whispered. He's far away, but I can feel his pain. Dr. Hawk knelt beside her. Ao, she nodded. They're hurting him. Before he could ask more, the ground shook violently. The alarms blared again. Impact detected, someone shouted from the hall. Multiple crafts landing near the mountain. Hawk grabbed Lena's hand. We have to go. They ran through the corridors as the walls trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. Soldiers shouted orders while explosions echoed from outside. Lena's heart pounded, but she didn't cry. She clutched her blanket tight, whispering, Ao, please be safe. The hallway lights flickered, and for a moment everything went black. Then a low humming sound filled the air, deep and heavy like a heartbeat from the earth itself. Dr. Hawk froze. That's not human tech, he muttered. A bright light burst through the far wall, sending fire and debris across the floor. Silhouettes appeared in the smoke, tall, red-skinned creatures with glowing armor and long weapons that crackled with energy. They weren't Io's kind. Their eyes burned yellow, their voices rough and metallic. One of them stepped forward and pointed at Lena. There. The child carries the light. Lena stepped back, terrified. Dr. Hawk. He stood in front of her, trembling but brave. You're not taking her, he shouted. The alien raised its weapon. A flash of red light hit the ground beside him, burning through metal. Move. A soldier screamed, firing his rifle. The bullets bounced off the creatures like dust. Dr. Hawk grabbed Lena's hand again and ran through a side door. This way! They rushed through an emergency tunnel that led to the old storage section of the base. Behind them, the walls shook with explosions. Lena stumbled, but Hawk lifted her up. Almost there, he said. Suddenly, Lena stopped. Her body glowed again, brighter than before. Lena, what's happening? I can hear him, she said. Ao, he's near. Where? She looked up toward the ceiling. Above us. Outside, the sky was a storm of fire and light. Strange ships hovered low, shooting beams at the mountain. But high above them, a single blue streak cut through the clouds, moving fast, burning bright. Ao had returned. His voice echoed inside Lena's head. Hold on, little one. I am here. Down in the tunnel, the walls began to shake. The red aliens roared as they fired at something unseen. A blast of blue light tore through the ceiling, destroying everything in its path. But not Lena. The energy curved around her, protecting her like a shield. Dr. Hawk covered his face as the dust settled. Then he looked up and saw Ao standing there, Not small this time. Not weak, he had grown. His body shone like silver fire, his eyes calm and bright. Ayo, Lena whispered, tears in her eyes. He looked at her kindly. You kept the promise. The aliens roared and charged, but Ayo lifted his hand. A wave of blue light spread across the tunnel, freezing everything in motion. The red creatures turned to glass and then shattered. Lena gasped. You saved us. Ayo turned to Dr. Hawk. You must leave. More are coming. They will destroy this place to find the light. Hawk nodded, still in shock. We'll take her far away. But Ayo shook his head. No, she carries the light now. They will follow her until the end of the stars. Lena looked down. I didn't want this. Ayo knelt beside her. I know, but it was the only way. My kind is gone, Lena. You are the last one who can keep the light alive. Her eyes filled with tears. But I'm just a girl, Ayo smiled faintly. So was I once in my own world. Another explosion shook the ground. Ayo looked toward the surface. They're here. He turned back to Lena, his glow fading slightly. You must go now, I can't leave you again, she said, grabbing his hand. Ayo placed his glowing fingers on her forehead. You won't. I will always be inside the light. The ground began to collapse around them. Dr. Hawk pulled Lena away as a tunnel door opened. Leading outside to the snowy mountains, she looked back one last time. Ayo stood in the middle of the falling debris, his light growing brighter and brighter until it filled everything. Then came silence. The mountain exploded behind them in a wave of blue fire. Dr. Hawk shielded Lena as the shockwave passed. When she opened her eyes, the mountain was gone. Only a glowing crater remained, shining softly like a new star. Lena whispered, He's gone again. Hawk placed a hand on her shoulder. No, look. In the middle of the crater, a small blue light floated upward into the sky, slowly fading into the stars. Lena held her glowing blanket tight and whispered, I'll keep your light safe, Ayo, I promise. And far above Earth, something ancient awakened in the darkness and watching her. 3 days had passed since the explosion destroyed the mountain base. News of the strange blue light spread all over the world. People shared videos online, a glowing blast that had wiped out a military facility but harmed no one outside. Scientists called it a natural phenomenon. Conspiracy theorists said it was an alien weapon, but only Dr. Hawk and Lena knew the truth. They had escaped that night through the forest, walking for hours until the smoke was far behind them. Now they were hiding in a small cabin near the edge of Silver Creek. It belonged to one of Hawk's old friends. Lena sat near the fire, holding her worn-out blanket, the same one she had given Ayo. It still glowed faintly in the dark, pulsing with a soft blue light. Dr. Hawk poured her some warm milk. You haven't eaten much, he said gently. Lena stared at the cup. It doesn't taste the same anymore, he sighed. I know, Lena, everything's changed. But we have to keep going. She looked up at him. They're still looking for us, aren't they? He nodded. Yes, the government thinks you're part of the explosion. And those red creatures. We don't know if they're still out there. Lena touched her chest. The faint blue glow under her skin flickered. I can feel something, she whispered. It's not Ayo this time, it's something else. That night the wind howled outside. The fire crackled softly. Dr. Hawk had fallen asleep in the chair, but Lena was awake, staring at the ceiling. Then suddenly, her body felt heavy. The room dimmed and a strange humming sound filled her ears. Lena, her heart skipped a beat. Ayo? She whispered. No, the voice was colder, deeper. You carry what is ours. She sat up quickly, her blanket slipping to the floor. Who are you? The ones before him. The keepers of the core. You hold our power. Return it. Lena's breath came fast. I can't, it's part of me now. The voice grew louder. Then you will burn with it. Suddenly, her room flashed with red light. The windows rattled. Outside, the clouds began to swirl again. Dr. Hawk woke up, startled. Lena, what's happening? I didn't do it, she cried, covering her ears. They're talking to me. Hawk grabbed her hand, but her skin was burning hot, glowing blue. The fire went out. The walls shook, and then a bright crack opened in the air, like lightning frozen in one place. From that crack stepped a tall figure. Not red like before, not silver like Ayo, but black and smoky with golden eyes. It looked at Lena. Child of the light, it said in a deep voice. You carry a stolen heart. Dr. Hawk pointed his flashlight at it, shaking. Stay away from her! The creature turned its head slowly toward him. This is not your world, human. Lena stood up, trembling but brave. Ao gave me this light. He said it was to protect me. The being stepped closer. He gave you the seed of his world, the core of Eltaris. It was never meant for humans. Lena frowned. Then why does it feel like it belongs to me? The creature hesitated. Because it has chosen you. But that choice will destroy your body soon. Dr. Hawk's eyes widened. Destroy her? What do you mean? The creature looked at him coldly. The energy inside her grows every hour. If it reaches its full form, it will tear her apart, and your world with her. Lena's lip trembled. No, I don't want that. The creature's golden eyes softened slightly. There is only one way to stop it. You must return the light to the stars before the red ones find you. Return it? How? You must find the gate, the same one Ao used to come here. It lies in the north under the frozen lake. When the time comes, the light will guide you. Before Lena could reply, a loud rumble echoed from outside. The ground shook violently. Red lights filled the forest again. They're here. Doctor, Hawk shouted. The creature turned toward the window. They have tracked the light. Go now. It raised its smoky hand and touched Lena's forehead. Her eyes glowed bright for a moment. The path will appear when you need it most, it said. Then in a flash of blue fire, the creature vanished. Hawk grabbed a small bag and threw on his coat. We're leaving. Lena picked up her glowing blanket. The lake. We have to find the lake. As they ran into the snowy forest, red beams from alien ships lit the trees behind them. The ground exploded and burning pieces of ice flew into the air. Faster, Lena, Hawk shouted. But she stopped suddenly. Her blanket was glowing brighter than ever, pointing north like a compass made of light. This way, she said. They ran for what felt like forever, through snow and smoke until they reached a frozen lake surrounded by tall black pines. The sky above was full of alien ships, their light searching the ground. Dr. Hawk looked around, panting. Where's the gate? Lena held up the blanket. The light from it reflected on the ice. And then the ice cracked, revealing a spiral of glowing blue symbols underneath. The lake began to hum and a circle of light formed in the middle, a portal rising from the frozen water. Dr. Hawk stared in awe. It's real. Lena stepped closer, her blue glow matching the gate's light. He was right, she whispered. The light will guide me. Behind them, the alien ships were landing, their red eyes closing in. Hawk shouted, Go, Lena! Go now! She turned to him, tears in her eyes. You have to come with me. He shook his head. No, I'll hold them off. You're the one who can save us. Dr. Hawk, go! Lena took one last look at him, then ran toward the portal as the ground exploded behind her. The light swallowed her completely, and she was gone. The red aliens landed, surrounding the crater where she had stood, but the portal was gone. Dr. Hawk smiled weakly, whispering, Goodbye, Lena. Save him. Save us all. Above the frozen lake, the sky cleared, and a single blue star shone brighter than all the others. The world around Lena vanished into a tunnel of blue light. She felt like she was flying through a dream, weightless, warm, and calm. The stars rushed past her like rivers of fire. She couldn't breathe, but she didn't need to. The light itself carried her. When the brightness faded, she found herself standing on solid ground. The air smelled different, clean, electric, and full of whispers. She looked up and gasped. The sky was purple. 2 suns shone above, one gold and one pale blue. Crystals floated in the air like tiny mirrors. The ground under her feet glowed softly, and in the distance stood tall silver towers, half broken, half burning. This is Ao's world, she whispered. Her blanket glowed brighter, pointing toward the ruins. She followed the light, her boots crunching over strange blue dust. Everywhere she looked, there were signs of life, but no people. Empty streets, fallen lights, and small toys lying in the sand. "This place died," Lena said softly, "just like he showed me." Then, a faint voice echoed through the wind. "Lena." Her heart jumped. "Ayo!" she cried. The light from her blanket stretched forward, forming a glowing path that led to a large temple in the distance. Its walls were cracked, but inside it still shone faintly with life. She ran toward it. Inside the temple, the air shimmered like water. In the center stood Ayo, or what was left of him. His body was made of light now, thin and transparent, his eyes gentle but tired. He smiled when he saw her. "You came." Lena ran to him, tears in her eyes. "You said I'd see you again." He nodded slowly. "You kept your promise, and so did I." She reached out, but her hand passed through him. "You're fading." "My energy was never meant to last this long," he said. "But the light inside you, that is the last heart of Eltaris. You brought it home." Lena looked around. "But your world is broken. Can't we fix it?" Ayo's gaze drifted toward the sky, where the two suns flickered weakly. The red ones destroyed the core. "They took our life force. Only the light you carry can restore it. But the price is heavy." Lena frowned. "What price?" Ayo stepped closer. "If you release the light here, it will save my world, but it will end yours." Her eyes widened. "End Earth?" "Yes. The light will return to its source. It will drain all the energy it gave to your planet, every spark of it. Your world will fall into silence." Lena shook her head. "I can't do that. People will die." Ayo's face softened. "Then keep it inside you. Return to your world. The light will protect Earth, but Eltaris will die forever." Lena's heart ached. "So no matter what I choose, someone dies." "That is the curse of the light," Ayo said quietly. "It gives life, but it always takes something in return." Tears filled her eyes. "I don't want to choose." He smiled sadly. "You already have a brave heart, Lena. That is why the light chose you." She looked around at the ruined city, the broken towers, the burned sky, the silent homes. Then she thought of Dr. Hockey, of her mother back home, of all the people who didn't even know what was happening. "I wish there was another way," she whispered. Ayo looked at her gently. "There might be, but it would mean giving up everything." Lena wiped her tears. "Tell me, if you join with the light, it can split between both worlds. It will live inside you forever, but you will no longer be only human. You will belong to both Earth and Eltaris, a bridge between them." She looked at him. "Will it hurt?" Ayo smiled faintly. "Only for a moment." Lena took a deep breath. "Then I'll do it. I can't let anyone else die." Ayo's eyes glowed softly. "You are braver than I ever was." He lifted his glowing hands and placed them over her heart. The light inside her began to shine brighter and brighter, until her body felt like it was made of stars. The ground trembled. The temple walls cracked open and beams of blue light shot into the sky. Far above the planet, the red ships that had followed her began to burn and vanish into dust. The suns blazed again, stronger than before. The ruins came alive with color. Lena felt warmth, pain, and peace all at once. She heard Ayo's voice one last time. "Thank you, little one. You brought life back to us." Then everything turned white. When Lena opened her eyes, she was lying on the snowy ground beside the frozen lake. The sun was rising. Birds were singing. Dr. Hawk was kneeling beside her, smiling through tears. "Lena, you're back." She looked around. The forest was alive again, the sky clear and far above. A faint blue light glowed like a new star. Her blanket was gone, but her hands still shimmered softly. She touched her chest. The light was still inside her, calm and quiet. Dr. Hawk asked, "What happened out there?" Lena looked up at the sky and smiled faintly. He's home, and so am I. Hawk frowned. Will they come again? She shook her head. No, the war is over. The worlds are safe. He helped her stand. You're glowing, Lena. She smiled. Maybe that's just the morning light. As they walked toward the forest path, a soft breeze passed by, warm and familiar. In that wind, she heard a whisper that only she could understand. I will always be with you. Lena smiled and whispered back, I know, Ao. The blue star above shimmered brighter for a moment, and then faded into the sunrise.